On tonight's Wales at 6, unanswered questions. Grieving loved ones left frustrated with no closure as to what caused a catastrophic explosion which tore down several homes. Plus, Swansea submerged, roads and community hubs underwater as the country's battered by flash floods and gales. Also on the programme tonight, claims Wales is being left behind in the nuclear sector as Anglesey struggles for jobs at Wilver. And spinning his life around, Justin proves there are no barriers to playing rugby as he comes to terms with a life-changing diagnosis. Hello, good evening to you. A grieving family say they'll never have closure and feel extremely let down after an inquest could not determine the cause of a fatal explosion that happened in Swansea 2 years ago. The blast ripped through a terraced house in the Morriston area, killing 68-year-old Brian Davis. Today, a jury found there was not enough evidence to ascertain what had caused the catastrophic blast. Our Swansea correspondent Dean Thomas Welch has been following the story and is in the city for us this evening. So, Dean, what else did the coroner have to say?
Well, Andrea, the coroner recognised the need to preserve life over the preservation of evidence. However, the coroner said that he will write to the Health and Safety Executive and South Wales Police for them to put together a memorandum of understanding on how to preserve more evidence. Without that, you end up with cases like today, where the true cause of an incident is not truly known.
An explosion so powerful, emergency workers described it as a war zone. It's hard to understand what could have caused such devastation. But an inquest into the death of 68-year-old Brian Davis, who died in a home explosion in 2023, has been trying to do just that. The inquest was told the explosion was typical of a gas leak. Neighbours described smelling gas in the weeks before the blast. However, key evidence that could have found the cause was lost during the frantic rescue effort to save Brian Davis.
Well, the Health and Safety Executive said much of the evidence that was left behind at the scene was compromised, meaning the cause of the explosion could never truly be known. 60 tonnes of debris, including appliances and internal gas piping, were taken to a local recycling centre before the HSE could fully investigate. This meant it was almost impossible to determine whether it was a gas leak from a mains pipe outside the property or a gas leak within Brian Davis's home that caused the blast.
Wales and West Utilities maintained there was no problems with its gas network, and there was no evidence that mains outside the house were the cause of the explosion.
Well, today a jury found Brian Davis died of chest and neck injuries, but they were unable to determine how that explosion occurred. After the verdict, Brian Davis' family released a statement which said they were deeply saddened by the loss of their dad and Bampy. They said they have waited 2.5 difficult years in the hope to find out the circumstances around this catastrophic tragedy, but they will never have closure and feel extremely let down due to the loss of key evidence.
In his final remarks, the coroner apologised to the family for being unable to identify a cause, and a narrative verdict was recorded.
Well, I was one of the first journalists on the scene, and one of the first things I noticed was a strong odour of gas that was in the air. By the time I got there, a huge cordon had been put around the exploded house, some 300 yards from where the incident had happened, and even then there was loft insulation blowing about and even roof tiles that had embedded into the floor. It was an extraordinary scene. Another thing that struck me was just the sense of community there and the worry that the community had for Brian Davis. Even clubs like Morriston Town Football Club, they opened up their clubhouse so people could go in, they could have a hot meal, they could pick up supplies as many residents were evacuated from their homes. Today's inquest brings an end, some form of closure to this tragic incident. But what happened to Brian Davis and his home will live long in the memories of the residents of Morriston for many years to come.
Dean, following that inquest for us today in Swansea, thank you. Cars submerged by water, part of the M4 shut, and disruption on public transport. Communities across the country have been dealing with the effects of heavy rain and strong gusts throughout the day. A yellow warning for wind for all of Wales has just expired, so while the worst of the weather does seem to be over, the damage has left people angry, with one business owner in Swansea describing flooding there as the worst they've ever seen. Mike Griffiths reports.
A city roundabout transformed into a lake. Roads and buildings flooded and cars submerged. Nearby businesses, like Malcolm Perrin's car hire firm, had little warning of what was happening.
I literally had about 40 calls from customers of mine and videos being sent to me telling me about the state. Have you seen the garage? Have you looked at it? Is it affecting you, etc. So obviously I've got CCTV, so I went on a CCTV and had a look at the cameras, and I could see that the water was getting higher by my son's garage next door, and I was up to my knees in water at the time last night, and there was oil floating everywhere. Today now we've come in, we had no electric, we've had to manually open the roller shutters. We've got no telephones because we've got no electric, so our days are gone today. The place is full of oil. This is the worst we've ever experienced. I mean, we've never had floods here before. Something's changed for them to have floods to this extent.
Well, today water levels may have come down significantly, but this roundabout is still flooded and impossible for most vehicles to get through. This would normally be one of the busiest routes into Swansea, but right now, instead of the sound of traffic, it's the sound of machinery and heavy pumps trying to get this water away. Swansea Council and Welsh Water say the flooding is due to a collapsed culvert on private land. Power supplies failed, along with a nearby pumping station. The council insists its own watercourse and culvert were cleared before this weekend's bad weather. With a yellow warning for wind throughout the day, the effects have been felt across Wales, with some local power cuts reported. These were the severe tailbacks on the M4 as it closed between Porthcawl and Margam this afternoon. The Kenfig viaduct had needed to be closed from midday due to high winds. In recent years, Wales has seen more severe warnings and more widespread disruption. But those directly affected by this weekend's weather won't forget what's happened to them. Mike Griffiths, ITV News in Swansea.
Elsewhere this evening, a woman in her 20s has been arrested on suspicion of being in possession of an offensive weapon in Holyhead. It follows earlier reports of a person seen carrying an axe. 2 schools were put into lockdown as a precaution. North Wales Police says an investigation is ongoing. People are being encouraged to share their views on a proposed new national park in North Wales. The proposed site would be called Glyndŵr National Park and would stretch from Talacra on the coast through to Clwydian Range, including Llangollen, and ending at Dyfnant Forest. Natural Resources Wales have begun a consultation today, which will last for 12 weeks. And concerts at Blackware Fields in Cardiff are expected to go ahead in 2026 after controversy over this year's events. Some residents had signed a petition after areas of the park were blocked off by fences to accommodate the gigs. Cardiff Council says this summer's concerts resulted in significant economic benefits and on the whole were well supported by local people. There are renewed calls for progress on a nuclear power station on Anglesey after job numbers at the island's Wilver site have fallen to a record low. The site has been earmarked by the UK government for a new station, but efforts to bring the former plant back into action over recent years have stalled. With jobs in the nuclear sector on the rise in England and an announcement today of new plants planned for Teesside across the border, there are claims from those in the industry that Wales is being left behind. Correspondent Carol Green has been to Ynys to gauge reaction there.
21-year-old Cerys works in the Avondale Cafe, a Llangefni meeting place for over 80 years. Staff and customers here experience the economic ups and downs of island life.
I think it's hard for people my age to find work now because I was young when I got my job, so it was easier. But I think there could be more opportunities for people to get more work. So yeah, getting another nuclear power station would help to increase more jobs and stuff.
But Wilver A power station lies silent, decommissioned with thousands of jobs lost and no deal on a new plant on the horizon. Plasterer Tony is bringing up his family on the island. He says the delay on Wilver hits the local economy hard. You're still hoping a nuclear deal will go through here?
Hopefully, yeah, because it brings a lot of money and a lot of jobs. And since it's been gone, a lot of people have suffered.
Whilst Wilver waits, 12 modular reactors are now in the offing for Hartlepool, potentially creating 2,500 jobs.
The Department of Energy say today's deal is part of a new golden age of nuclear power, the aim to take back control of the UK's energy supply. But whilst the jobs are good news for the northeast of England, communities here on Anglesey are still waiting and desperately in need of investment.
Jobs in the nuclear sector have fallen to a record low of just over 300 on the island. That's less than half the number recorded a decade ago.
If we don't have anything happening at Wilver, and we don't have anything happening potentially at Trasford, if we don't have anything happening with data centre in the south of Wales, and Wales will self-evidently fall behind in relation to developments in other parts of the UK. And that would be a real shame, because there's a strong nuclear heritage in Wales. There are many Welsh people who work at Hinckley, actually. There's a strong, nuclear skills base that comes from Wales.
Not everyone supports new nuclear power on Anglesey. But Wilver is seen by the sector as the UK's #1 replacement site. Yet it's stalled.
We've got the best site in Europe. This is recognised worldwide, and we're not having a decision made on the future of the site. The skills agenda, the supply chain, we're all ready to go. The universities, the colleges, it's eager to go on it, but we need a political decision on the future of the site of Wilver and what technology this government wants to see there.
Whilst the sector grows across the border, Wilver and Wales waits. Carol Green, ITV News, Anglesey.
Still to come, Ruth is here with the forecast. As we've already seen, the weather been causing some serious problems across the country, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yes. And I'm afraid we're not quite out of the woods just yet. The wind might be easing, but there's more heavy rain to come tomorrow. Autumn is here with a vengeance. I'll be back later.
Not sure I'm looking forward to that. We'll see you later. Matt is pleased to be reporting on an indoor sport this evening, I think. Where are you today, Matt?
Yes, absolutely, Andrea. I'm taking shelter from the elements here at Red's Snooker Club in Cwmbran, where there's a renewed push to get more women and young girls involved in the sport. And there's been some international recognition too. I'll have all the details later in the programme.
Matt and Ruth both with you in a little while. Next tonight, we know the benefits of sport it can have on our physical and mental health, and one man from the Vale of Glamorgan has been demonstrating just how much sport can help turn your life around. Justin Griffiths looked like he had a promising career as a youth Welsh rugby international, but injuries dashed his dreams, and then a muscular dystrophy diagnosis left him feeling rock bottom. He's now using his situation to prove there should be no barriers to sport for anyone, and has set up his own wheelchair rugby club. Liam McConkey went along to meet him.
It's certainly not a game for the faint-hearted. Those at the Vale of Glamorgan Rams showing just how brutal wheelchair rugby can be. The club was recently set up by Justin Griffiths, who has muscular dystrophy, a disease that causes muscle weakness and gets worse over time. But setting up this new club has given Justin a new purpose in his life.
Finding wheelchair rugby it's a bit of a cliche, I know, but it really was a lifesaver for me. I've gone from rock bottom, to feel the joys getting up every day now, oh great, it's training today, great, oh somebody else wants to join, great.
And for Justin, he set up the club so people of all abilities could get involved.
We've got people here in our club that suffer from cerebral palsy, that have had epilepsy, that have had spinal injuries, tetraplegia, kabuki syndrome. We've got everything from very disabled to able-bodied and sort of everything in between.
Anita is Justin's mother-in-law, and even at the age of 77, she's proving that age is no barrier to getting stuck in to this sport.
Anybody can play it, whatever disability, whatever age. It's a really good sport. Everybody's on an equal. There's no barriers at all between any of us, and we have a really good laugh here as well.
The hope is that this club will not only foster new friendships, but also allow families to come together and enjoy the sport.
I just really like the sport because it's just quite fun to play. Well, I have made quite a few friends from it, like also my brother plays it.
The aim for the Rams is to offer more opportunities for people to get involved. Well, despite what Justin has gone through and continues to experience by setting up this club, he's shown that sport really can be for everyone. Liam McConkie, ITV News, in the Vale of Glamorgan.
We begin our series of Pride of Britain nominees here in Wales with the story of one woman who has dedicated more than a decade to keeping the county's only deaf centre alive. After losing her hearing following surgery, Kaz has thrown herself into fundraising, teaching and fighting for the rights of the deaf community. For many, she's not just a volunteer. She's the heart of Carmarthenshire's deaf community and the grandma for deaf children.
My name is Kaz Jeffries and I'm from Llanelli. I'm passionate about my deaf community and everything that involves. I've got Meniere's disease. They weren't able to treat it there was no therapy, it had gone too far. So I had destructive surgery and they removed my balance. I went to sleep with hearing. I woke up profoundly deaf. I learnt BSL to communicate. We've raised about £66,000 at the moment. And we just keep going and keep going. We need about 168,000 altogether for the new flooring, the new plastering, inside and out. I think I worry more about this place than I do my own home. And I'm definitely here more than I am in my own home. My husband says, "Oh, I know you. You're my wife," when I'm really there. We developed and set up the access in the garden. The children were using it. It took us 5 years to do the work. We had to develop everything up the garden. We set up the youth, and that was where I knew that what we were doing would make a change in that child's life going forward. I hope the people out there watching this now will understand some of the issues the deaf community have. I'm talking because I know it's a hearing programme, but I'm signing because I'm deaf and it's my language. The barriers, it's really hard. So for me, when I see the families, they're signing with their children, or that first time that that child has a video sent to me from their mum where they're signing, and it's like, and that's why I do this. We want all of them to know and understand the barriers and remove them. We want equality. We want our rights acknowledged and to be seen.
And we'll be telling the stories of the rest of our ITV Wales Fundraiser of the Year nominees throughout this week, so make sure you tune in for those. You are watching Wales at 6. Let's get a reminder of our top story tonight now. A grieving family say they'll never have closure after an inquest could not determine the cause of a fatal explosion that happened in Swansea 2 years ago. The blast ripped through a terraced house in the Morriston area, killing 68-year-old Brian Davis. Today, a jury found there was not enough evidence to ascertain what had caused the catastrophic blast. Still ahead on the ITV Evening News.
Another resignation and another blow for Keir Starmer after a close ally and senior advisor is forced to quit. Paul Ovenden is out after ITV News uncovered sexually explicit messages exchanged about Diane Abbott. The first sitting Conservative MP defects to Reform, saying his now former party is over, and
Owen Cooper, I love him.
The adolescent star who's made history at the Emmys in the US. So do join us for those stories and much more at 6:30.
Charlene with you shortly with those stories. But before those, in years gone by, it's fair to say, I think, that the sport of snooker has been male-dominated, but that's something that's steadily changing. And leading that change is one club in Cwmbran. They've recently had great success with two of their players, and Matt is there now, hopefully to tell us what they're doing right. Good evening, Matt.
Yes, good evening, Andrea. Well, I'm here at Reds Snooker Club in Cwmbran, where in the last 6 months they've set up a women's snooker boot camp, and I'm delighted to say that I'm joined by Jeremy now, who has been leading this and driving it. Jeremy, just tell me about why you wanted to set up this boot camp.
So it all started, Matt. Last November I qualified as a WPBSA snooker coach. From there then I joined the Reds Junior Academy on a Saturday. Fiona approached me with private tuition. That led to Fiona entering an official ladies event, so I went along to support. Was surprised by the talent and the enthusiasm I saw there, and I thought, you know, why not set up something similar to the academy for the ladies to come along to?
So what can they expect when young girls and women do come along? What are we seeing here tonight?
So we normally run the boot camp on a Sunday morning. Every fortnight. You can expect an hour and a half where you get an hour's coaching, and we always end with a friendly frame just for a bit of experience.
Absolutely. Well, Jeremy, thank you very much for joining us. Now, there's been a bit of international recognition at this snooker club too, and if I could just grab Kim and Alicia, if you'd come and join us as well. We'll have you this side.
Thank you.
You guys represented Wales recently. That's very exciting news in the home nations. Just tell me about what that experience was like for you, Alicia.
Oh, it was an absolute brilliant week. The venue's fantastic. The standard of the players is outstanding. And it's such a great opportunity for us to have the first Welsh women's team to go up and play. And hopefully we'll have more next year. Season, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kim, tell us a bit about your story then, because you've been struggling to get into this sport for many years.
Yeah, most of the clubs going back in the early 80s wouldn't allow women to play. I was one of those, and it took me 7 years of trying before they changed it to a male league, so I wasn't able to play. 2018, a few nice players from my local club pushed me into the team again, and we got it overturned, and we got it down. Now it's United clubs, and they allow me to play, and I'm now the team captain, and we're joined in here with the boot camp, hoping to get more youth players, more young girls. We've been pushing Facebook all over the town, all across the Vale, trying to get young girls like Caitlin and Fiona, only 12 and 14-year-olds involved in this sport, that we can get a new team for next year. Just me and Alicia. It was this year, but it's positivity. We're moving forward, and we will get the youth. Welsh women. We will have the Welsh women's snooker through South Wales Snooker and Welsh Snooker. We'll get our foot in the door.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
well, thank you.
Great opportunity.
Well, thank you very much for joining us this evening. Well, Andrea, the message here at Reds in Cwmbran is that this is a sport for everybody.
Great news, and growing, Matt. Thanks very much indeed. Oh, well, Ruth is here to tell us what the weather has got in store. I almost don't want to ask. That warning's passed now, but
yes.
Still things to watch out for.
Yeah, so the warning that covered the whole of Wales, a yellow weather warning that was issued, of course, yesterday, has now expired 6 o'clock. That's done and dusted, although having said that, it's not particularly pleasant out there if you have got to make any journeys over the next few hours or so. Just be careful, because there's still an awful lot of water on the roads. Now, as far as the wind warnings are concerned, yes, they have gone, but, well, it's autumn after all. It's that time of the year, and there's more eventful weather to come now. It looks as if I've forgotten to put the weather on the map, doesn't it? Because actually, by tomorrow evening, it'll be calm and quiet. quiet. However, it is going to go downhill quite quickly, and we do have a band of rain that'll push into the southwest round about now, this time tomorrow, and it'll work its way northwards and eastwards overnight. Now again, compounding already miserable conditions. So we've switched from strong winds to heavy rain to watch out for overnight tomorrow night, and then Wednesday looks a little bit hit and miss as well. And if you think that's enough, well, I'm sorry to say there's even more to come. And if we look on the bigger picture, you can see, so that's tomorrow's wet weather. That's one area of low pressure, but there's another one waiting in the wings to bring more unsettled weather for Thursday and for Friday. Hopefully something slightly drier for the start of the weekend, but some weather to get through first.
Today sees sunshine, sand and a spell of bamboo rafting. TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
Well, it's still quite busy out there at the moment. Strong winds across much of Wales and further heavy downpours. Now, on a positive, these will start to ease as we head into the overnight stretch with more heavy rain, as you can see then, just nudging into the far north by the early hours. Temperatures tonight, neither here nor there, relatively mild values of around 11 or 12 by the time we wake to tomorrow morning. But again, across the north, a miserable start to the day, more heavy rain, but fingers crossed for much of Wales as we head through the course of the morning. The heaviest of those showers will start to ease, and actually the winds will continue to die back during the day as well. So a much more cheerful feel, not particularly pleasant, and it's certainly not going to be bright blue skies, but we could actually see the odd spot of sunshine. And if you do, temperature-wise, it won't feel too bad. Highs of around 16 or 17 in Celsius. But it is a one-day offering only, because as we head through Tuesday evening, we've got another band of very heavy rain that'll start to work its way in yet again. So again, just be careful on the roads. As you can see, really nasty conditions. So we turn our attentions to the rainfall as opposed to the strong winds, although we'll certainly have some particularly keen wind gusts through Wednesday. So not a pleasant day by any means, and that then sets the tone for the rest of the week, as you can see. Well, what more can I say, really? Wet and windy conditions. We will, however, start to tap into some slightly milder air. So temperatures during much of this week are going to hover at around 19 or 20, which is slightly above the average, really, for the time of year. And the good news is perhaps that nighttime temperatures will start to creep up a little bit as well. But the unsettled weather just keeps on coming, with no sign of any let-up, really, until the start of the coming weekend.
TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
So by this time tomorrow, interestingly, parts of South Wales in particular will already have had a month's worth of rain in less than half a month. That's good going.
Autumn has not been shy in making itself known, has it?
It's out there.
Yep. Ruth, thank you. And that's it. Richard Morgan's back with your late update. Bye-bye for now.